Warm up on beam for the next final. Irina Krasnianska is just warming up at the moment. Such a graceful gymnast.
The Ukraine have produced over the years some really great female gymnasts. Many of the gymnasts who won for the Soviet Union over the years had come from the Ukraine. Many of the Olympic champions, and they've carried on that tradition after Atlanta in '96, but the next generation of coaches have come along and continued that great work. They're never showy gymnasts, but they're always technically great. You don't see a foot out of place, the toes are pointed, the legs are straight. They're the purest gymnasts.
Sandra Isbata just warming up from Romania. Second in yesterday's all-around. And the world champion Irina Krasnianska here. Sandra Isbata competing. We're just seeing her warming up. You can't rule out Vanessa Ferrari. That's number 7 there. She achieved the highest score of all really in qualification, 16. But the beam yesterday, well, was real problems for the ladies. It was so many gymnasts just fell off and wobbled and.
Yeah, it's when you're in doubt, this is the place that it really affects you. You just need, or the gymnasts just have to do so many repetitions of every skill so that it becomes second nature. So they don't have to think about what they're doing. They just can get on and perform, go into autopilot, as it were. And that is something the Romanians seem to understand so well.
The interesting thing about qualification here, Listo and Krasnianska scored 15.65, both of them. And then Lezeko and Kozic scored 15.575. So it's very close. It's going to be a very close competition, this.
Yeah, and it's so dependent on whether they manage to link all the skills together or not. You have to, you know, you'll do a free walkover like that. Now, if she goes immediately from that free walkover into the flip layout, she'll get a bonus of 0.1. But the judges might have decided she might have a pause, the next day she'll go straight in. So their start value can vary quite a little bit, just depending on how precise they are.
And Kozic will be the first to go. She's also qualified for the floor final, which we can see with Beth a bit later on.
Lovely supple gymnast who uses her mobility to its full. Look at that for a link. Now that's what I mean. Full spin, no hesitation, straight into the front somersault. Because she's beautifully supple, she very rarely has to distort her body line to achieve. Now there we are, holds the legs up into the side somersault. Now she's going for broke here. It's a little bit flat on those jumps. Oh, she held that well. The dip of the elbows. All these skills show off her lovely long limbs, her mobility. Now I can assure you, you have to do thousands of those to be confident in competition. Watch the end of the beam, lift, land, great first.
Set for the rest of the gymnasts. Kozic 15.575 in qualification. But some lovely work there.
And the elegance to go with it too. Super.
Fluency to her work, isn't there? That was probably the one little bit of a wobble. It wasn't really a wobble, but the two jumps were a bit flat. And the other little deduction, well, they're not going to show us, but was the bent elbows on the handstand.
Keeping focus all the way through to the dismount. Driving the feet into the beam. Lovely set to make the double tuck. Plenty.
Yes, for a big split of the legs. And a low landing. Probably more deductions on the dismount than the rest of the routine.
Wonderful backflip into that handstand position to be able to spot that. Kozic 15.45, so down on a qualification score. But a world champion is up next. Arina Krasnoyanska from Ukraine, 19 years old.
A balance like that is just uncanny, isn't it? Lovely style.
Great start.
That landing so well, met the beam. I don't think she quite touched the head with that back leg. Little dip on the front summy, but very positive. Now that again, the judges have to feel she took the head right back and touched the head. Oh, she's just a little bit hesitant there. And you see she lost that series. She'll get the moves, but she won't get the little 0.1 bonus, 0.2, which is probably what wins the competition. But that was lovely elevation. The whistle means they've got 10 seconds to dismount. Here it comes. Oh, just short, wasn't she? Didn't stand up quite well enough out of the round off.
That seems to be the story with the whole routine, really. It was, you know, good, but not quite there every time. But she went for it with the difficulty. I mean, it certainly had the moves.
Yeah, you see, she'd seen the gymnast before her link everything. That was a bit deductible as well. She was, you know, almost a 90-degree angle at the knee for landing. Still a great performance, but second bite. Here she just was leaning forwards on takeoff.
Big skill, that. Round off layout.
See how she works so hard to hold it on. Keeps the
Little
knees
toe,
bent,
yeah.
yeah.
Ukraine have had a good competition, haven't they?
Just thinking, Mitch,
Yeah.
they certainly look one of the top nations here, don't they?
Yeah, good job.
They're maybe going to come back very strong.
Just waiting for Krasnoyanska's score. Bismuth will be up next. There she is, 18-year-old. She was 8th at the European Championships last year on beam. The judges are deliberating over the lack of linking those moves together.
These gymnasts from the Ukraine have been around for a little bit. They're similar age, aren't they? Sort of 18, 19. They'll be a great team for the World Championships and Olympics. They'll be coming to a fair old peak and going to the Olympics with lots of experience as well.
Krasnianska scored 15.65. Qualification, she had the 4th highest score. So seems a little bit off from her form of world champion.
Yes, I wouldn't have thought. Maybe it was the jumps they're having to have a long talk about. But if you remember, oh, here we go.
She's in second at the moment, 15.225. So Kozic from Ukraine still in the lead. Stephanie Bismuku from Greece is the 3rd gymnast to go in this beam final.
Mounts that layout, but she performed it very well. Watch this series. It's wowed us yesterday. Full twisting flip, back flip, layout somersault. That's really very impressive. Each gymnast has to go low onto the beam. They also have to include a spin. To the sideways element. They have to show backwards and forwards or sideways element.
I tell you what, she's not giving much away, is she?
She's not. She's very precise, very smooth. The whistle, she doesn't want to get off ahead of time. Big round off, double pike. She really was very solid, wasn't she? It'll be a question of difficulty, because although she had all the difficulty, she didn't try and link anything much. But it was pretty impressive.
Very impressive from the little Greek. Look,
Shoulders nice and square. That was the story all the way through, really. She held it together beautifully. Down to that A jury, Christine.
Yes.
What are the B jury going to take?
There weren't very many wobbles. She probably has got deductions perhaps for the height of 1 or 2 elements. She's a small gymnast, so they don't seem quite so high, some of the jumps. But really, she was very efficient. I don't think there was much to be deducted.
Well, she's happy anyway.
she was a little bit upset after a bars yesterday. It's nice to see her enjoying herself there. The score for her to get Krasnianska's score, she's currently in 2nd.
It's good to see her successful. We've seen her over the years as a little one, much feted by the Greek Federation, much expected of, and often been unable to handle the pressure, but she's obviously grown up a little bit now, more relaxed, much more able to perform well.
The judges are just trying to work out where to take marks off from. Yeah, fabulous performance from her. She's gone into the... So Kozic down in silver medal position at the moment. This is the world silver medalist on beam. She came 3rd at the European Championships last year. Sandra Isbasa from Romania.
The great thing about Isbasa is the speed with which she works. So it makes her look so confident. Nothing's ponderous, is it? Little deduction on the first jump. She didn't have the leg quite high enough. Very smooth there, very confident. Lands one move and focuses, moves straight into the next. And that way, of course, she can get a lot of moves in. Free cartwheel, side somersault, just the littlest hint of a wobble. can hear her teammate in the background giving encouragement all the way through. So doesn't get given the extra difficulty for that. But she's probably done 2 more lengths than the others. Now she must concentrate. And very cleanly round. Very good triple twist dismount. Happy with herself with that performance.
Very crisp, very determined.
She hurt her ankle, perhaps. I think she kept twisting at the end there.
I think you might be right. She walked away and
Grimaced.
grimaced, didn't she?
Well, she'll hopefully be appearing on floor a little bit later on.
Sharp, clean and crisp.
Look at the height of the beam. She has to show splits, does it easily, doesn't she?
Really, so good.
Is this where the damage was done?
Difficult to see from this angle. She says, I'm fine.
But I think it was one of the best dismounts we've seen her do in competition.
It's the current leader is McCoo. 15.475, her score at the moment. Is Basser? Yes, 15.525. She's in the lead.
Worth a few tears, wasn't it? Good work.
Kristina Pravdina from Russia.
Quite a deceptive gymnast. She's got all the class of the... Oh, and that lovely standing Arabian. I was just about to say all the class of Russian training. But just somehow isn't in the classical physique of a Russian gymnast. This is a very difficult, ambitious spin. Holds it well. Those lovely split jumps. Come on, hold your middle tight. Positive on the landings. The trend has moved away from turning jumps and difficult elements like that to the acrobatic elements. That was such a good high front somersault. She was so...
Beautiful one.
And a very high good dismount as well. Spun that. Some really super work in there, but also just a couple of little wobbles.
She qualified down in 8th position, but there wasn't much between the leader and 8th. But look at that Arabian.
Big skill. Power, control. So where would you focus her training now, Christine? She's got the elements.
I just think her presentation needs to be a little bit more work. Although actually once she started performing, she presented herself, her skills much better than you sort of expected her to. When she stood there, she looked as though she was, you know, off a run, really. She didn't look like she was about to give a beautiful performance. But very classical, good technique on all her work, I thought.
The current leader is Basser, hobbling slightly. Picked up a little niggle to the left ankle, the left foot.
chat to her teammate in the audience.
Still waiting for Kristina Pravdina's score. Her best placing's 5th World Cup Series this year. She's in 4th, 15.25. Zeko is next to go. 17 years old from Russia.
Just an easy, quiet mount. There's no requirement on the gymnast to do a difficult mount. It's just they need to pack in as... Oh, another beautiful Arabian somersault. They just need to pack in as much difficulty as possible. It's open-ended, so if you can do 10 D moves, you can score much more than if you do 10 A moves. It's an ambitious... Judges count your 10 highest elements. Just from standing, she's got huge power. Lovely free walkover. Now they have to join 2 elements, and she probably would have been hoping to have had that counted, the free walkover into the flip. It was nicely disguised. And there's the 2 elements joined. Many of them go for a backflip and a layout somersault, but if they can get away with 2 high-scoring elements, it adds to the value. Now she needs the big dismount as well. Oh, and very good double Arabian. She's got something a little bit special on this apparatus, hasn't she, Mitch?
Very, very impressive. Tumbling on the beam. She could have been on the floor. Very, very ambitious work. And there was a sign of her ability at Arabian. She did a lovely standing Arabian and then that finish. Lovely work. Good lunge, lovely conversion, and that's the connection that Christine was so impressed with.
I knew she was under pressure at that point to make a link, because I didn't think the previous one she tried would be it. There we are, that half turn in, double front. Legs very wide.
It's a deduction then, yes.
3/10. Yes. Would they take 3/10, Christine, or 10th?
It just depends, I think. It also depends where the judges are sighted, because we're getting an end-on view, which they don't get. They're sitting at the side, and it wouldn't look so drastic to them as it does to us.
Currently, they're just working her ankle now, raising up onto her toes and down again. Vanessa Ferrari is next to go. Just waiting for Zeko's score before Ferrari can go. Zeko scored the same as Kozic, 15.575 qualifying. That's definitely hobbling there.
The doctor having a careful look at her.
Wow, she's gone into the lead as Zeko, 15.675. What a performance. So with an strong, compact gymnast, as you'll see from her start.
Totally in control, isn't she? Holds the planche. And you've seen me in the control situation. Now this is dynamics. Full twisting back somersault. Oh, I'm amazed at that. She's looked more off yesterday when she stayed on.
Did that in Aarhus, didn't she?
Yes, I suppose you get a little bit of a down after having won the all-around. little bit flat, the splits leap. The 2 previous jumps were good though. Going for the all-important links. Takes the head back. She's very committed, as she is in all her gymnastics. Commits to the dismount, but just a little bit short today.
Not a happy outing, was it, for her? Second final, and problems on both.
I think one of the things about being a real star and loving to win is when you're up, you're really up and you're going for it. But when you're a little bit down, you just don't get that same buzz. You don't get that same adrenaline through your body. And of course, when you do, like she did for the day 1 of competition, it leaves you quite drained afterwards. And although she's had, well, she hasn't had a day off, has she? It was yesterday, the all-around, which she won. And, you know, she's still all the emotions of having won. Oh,
Yeah. She wowed the world at the World Championships, and then it's one of these things where, you know, every competition you go to, just every bit of experience helps. And
yeah. And I do think it is quite difficult after you've won one day, sort of 24 hours later, to come back and do it all again. The adrenaline's not quite the same, is it?
Still got floor to go, though, Vanessa.
I would also say about her that some of her techniques are not the most classically best. And when she's bubbling and full of energy, she can get away with it. But when not, she sometimes can't.
And 7, 13.55. Setting for Ferrari. Current leader, Lezeko. But this girl, the last to go, Steliana Nisto, in this final, could certainly medal here.
She's in a hurry too.
She's very fast. You know, and I think just so that she can do so many lengths and get so much difficulty in. There's the full twisting back somersault. Wasn't giving that one away.
She did fall on beam in yesterday's all-around.
But there was no hesitation in that free walkover into flip layout. A definite join, and another one. Whoa, front summy into tuck back. But that was an error.
Love the attack, though, the way she approaches the whole routine.
That's something that the Romanians seem to be able to do that no one else in the world can. They seem to have the confidence to just move from one element to the next. Never mind if it made a mistake, just keep it going. There. Oh, now that was really nicely done today, wasn't it? We saw it a bit stuttery yesterday. But very impressive. Oh, a beautiful double pipe.
Well, is the difficulty going to see her through and take her ahead of Lezeko? She had a few wobbles.
That's lovely.
She had some great work, but she did have a few wobbles. That straight into the tuck back. She went straight in. It was great. But I think, for me, that's a 0.5 deduction, really. But then, on the other hand, she did a great swings and roundabouts.
Perky. Very determined performance.
This is probably the front summy to 1 foot.
That's lovely.
And original.
Nice, you're going to start training that one when you get back to the gym. Nisto pleased with her performance.
That was a fabulous beam final. Having said, Matt, at the beginning that people had struggled a bit yesterday, really today was really top level.
Mazeko still waiting for the score of Nistor. She's hanging on to a medal position. So 15.675 is the score to beat. Or 15.525 to beat her teammate, Sandra Isbasha. Bismaku at the moment in third with 15.475.
She built the difficulty, but B jury here is crucial, isn't it, Christine?
I think so.
Well, it's obviously not enough to take the gold. We're looking at Mazeko's reaction. She's in third, 15.475.
A good result, I think, there. I think the Russian had more original work.
Possibly be a tie. Yes, it is a tie with Bismaku in bronze medal. So Nistor there, that last performance tie, who took silver in the World Championships. She took silver here at the European Championships. But Yulia Mazeko takes gold.
Special moment for the Greek gymnasts. Medal at European Championships, that's something they haven't done for a long while.
Nistor looks a little hard done by there. Would you have said that Nistor's performance was better than Isbasa's, or?
No, she had the wobble, really. I wasn't adding the difficulty, but there's similar difficulty. I think it was the right way round.